Hello, everybody. I am super excited to have Nicholas David here today again. I don't know if you guys remember. He was here. I've had him on twice, so welcome back, Nicholas.
Thanks for having me again on the show, Elisa.
I am super excited about this one because we're going to talk about children and how the soul contract and how their name really how everything is connected, right, between our names and our relationships with our children, and how to consciously raise our children based on this information, which is people can, of course, get it on your website and also from your practitioners as well. So I am so excited and ready to get started today. So, Nicholas David, give us a little bit of a summary of the prior video so that and we're telling everybody, please go watch the previous videos that we did on this information, because it's going to help you really understand the context of today, although Nicholas David is going to give us a summary. And I will put a link to that video in the description of this video, so you can go watch it first and then come back. Okay. All right. Very good, Nicholas David. So let's get started.
Okay, thanks for that introduction, Lisa. We're going to share the screen and show your birth chart here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me get my pen here. So we have a summary, just to remind people of how this works. So sound is creative, and the soul chooses our name based upon all its previous past life experiences to give us the next incremental step in our soul evolution to increase the amount of unconditional love in us. So it picks the name, the parents, the time zone, the genetics, and the name here, this is Elisa's name here, basically contains all the frequencies that once that name is put on the birth certificate, or even before, actually, even from the point of conception, the frequencies of the name are in your body, in your DNA, and your energy fields. And they are radiating out to the matrix. And by the law of attraction, the matrix rearranges around what you put out emotionally and what you think, mostly subconscious, and creates your reality. So this is like the core programming that's creating every moment of your life. So by decoding this name, we can actually work out what's going on. So what we've taken is Elisa's birth certificate name, and we have matched it up to the equivalent Hebrew sounds here and extracted the Hebrew numbers inherent within that, and we're decoding them on the Star of David. And by allocating the numbers around the star, starting here, we allocate them around the star till we use them all up. And we do some maths and total the numbers up here in each of the 6 outer aspects. And we do a bit of maths, we just reduce this 20. We take a 20, 2 plus 0 is a 2, so we get a 20 and a 2, a 20-2. Total is 58. Here it has to be a number less than 22 because there's only 22 frequencies in the system, the soul contract reading system.
Okay.
5 plus 8 becomes 13, the first number between 1 and 22. 1 plus 3 becomes 4. 27 here, 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus nothing is another 9, etc. And then we take these numbers and we put them on this table. This is the physical numbers, physical side of your life, and the spiritual numbers put them on the bottom half of the table on this side here. And then we total them up. We get the 78 and the 24. 7 plus 8 is 15. 2 plus 4 is 6. That becomes the soul destiny. So this basically describes the core energy, call it the cake of your life, that you are born with, that it creates your entire life from beginning to end. And so physical karma here is the main physical lessons Elisa has. And what happened here was that this is about breaking out of rigid rigid mindset. What was that, Elisa? What rigid belief system was imposed upon you as a kid? Just briefly.
Um, you mean, did I have a rigid upbringing, or did I become rigid in my control of my life?
Or a rigid belief system from externally, was that imposed upon you that you had to overcome? So you had to break out of one mindset and break out of that to explore and find a new mindset that was better for you.
Um, I think it was the mindset of that what I had to say didn't matter, maybe.
Yeah. It's probably this one being suppressed. I mean, did you have a religious upbringing or anything like that? Or
I did. I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
And that was, yeah, that was quite easy to let go, because from as a child, I knew that the information I was given was not true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so when did you break out of that? How long did it take to break free of that conditioning?
Um, well, I awakened in 2014, but I stopped going to church when I was a teenager. When as soon as I left my house, I wasn't going to church. So uh, early on, I wasn't interested in it, but it wasn't until I woke up that in 2014 that then later on, as I was learning more and more truths, I went and like undo the baptism and all that stuff on my own, like, yeah. Um, the part that was big for me was when I actually said, okay, Jesus is not the only son of God. We are all Jesus, we are all Jesus, basically. We are all the son's children of God. And it was funny because when I said that out loud, I almost felt like I jumped off a cliff, like, oh my God, like, uh, so that was around 2018.
Yeah. So this is about learning great moving rigid belief, the 20, to flowing, exploring new belief systems. Like, okay, we're all Christed. Okay. That's what you're basically doing to do there. So this is breaking out of that. And the two is learning to become emotionally resilient and to learn to move up and down on emotionally. The spring moves up and down, and you can learn to see the truth of a situation, but you got to wait because your perception's changing. Does that sound familiar? It can be a bit impulsive when you're younger. Were you impulsive?
Yeah, yeah.
Get you in trouble?
I'm very quick to do things. I don't think about it too much. I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it cause problems, or did it cause problems when you were younger?
No, I was a goody two shoes because I never broke the rules. I was a rule follower, yeah. I wanted to be the most perfect little girl I could be. So my parents would love me unconditionally.
That's the 10-1. You want to be perfect in the eyes of God. That's the ego there. So this one here was being impulsive, to learn from being impulsive that sometimes some impulsive actions aren't a good idea. And so it's about the lessons of foolishness to wisdom, learning wisdom now.
Mm.
And realizing that's not a bad idea. I need to wait a bit longer and observe the situation from a greater, higher perspective. And then if I make a decision from there, I'll make a wise decision.
Okay.
Do you feel you've become wiser now after all that
Oh,
experience?
I'm not even the same person anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
a matter of fact, I don't even act like a Virgo anymore. I act as a Pisces. So my Pisces is Pisces rising, and I can tell that's where I'm rising too.
Okay. And so what are the characteristics of Pisces for you? What particular things are you experiencing?
So Pisces is more emotional, more open to have emotions. Um, I was Virgos are very like controlling, and they have, they have organizers, and they organize and they plan, and now I don't like to plan things anymore. I don't like to organize things anymore. I've given up the control now.
Okay. All right. So this is about flowing here, this energy.
Yes, flow.
Flowing and exploring, and from that, learning your real truth in life and having emotional resiliency to cope with that exploration. Like you've just been to Bosnia, so you move around a lot, exploring stuff, to learn new things. That's what that's about. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel there's an enormous power in you? There's this great dragon energy. There's a great power in you that's unleashing itself.
Yeah, there is a big power in flowing with the universe and really trusting what the universe has for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is like this big dragon energy. It's here to catalyze change in yourself and in people, and it can do pretty much what it likes. And this energy flows into the karma, this physical talents, to burn through the rigid belief systems and burn through the impulsiveness. And it brings you peace as well. Okay, because this is war and peace. So this brings you peace to inner conflict when you were younger.
Okay.
So did that happen? Did you have a lot of inner conflict, which led to outer conflict sometimes with people?
I might have, but I didn't verbalize it because I always wanted everybody to like me. That was
Yeah.
a big deal for me. I would sacrifice my feelings for others.
Yeah, this is so you could get love. This
Yes,
one before is about um, wanting to not feeling there's enough love, so do your best to receive that love.
yes.
That's what that's about. And this 10-1's about being perfect. This is actually Virgo in the system here. Being perfect in the eyes of God, so God will take you back to heaven. And you won't just stay on this third rock from the sun any longer than necessary. So the ego wants to get back to God. That's where the perfection comes from. That's the archetype of this one.
Mm-hmm.
So this enormous power here allows you to pretty much do whatever you like. You found that if you really want to do something, no one can stop you.
Yes. Yes. If I put my mind to something for it gets done.
Yeah. Okay. So this is very powerful, having this dragon energy to catalyze change in the world. And the physical goals here, there's 5, it's very etheric 5 energy here. And this is all about abstraction, it's spirit coming from the high dimensions into earth plane. And this is about embodying the psychic, highly spiritual, intuitive energy into the physical reality. And this spirit just wants to tell pure truth, which is what you said earlier. And this is you as a visionary and a pioneer and an intuitive. So you're here to overcome past life persecution for speaking the truth, which sounds like that's what happened as a kid. And to bring that vision out here, that subtle psychic vision from spirit, accessing from the higher dimensions, into grounded reality here. So how's that been manifesting, or how so far?
I think I am there, except for now I am developing my psychic abilities even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I am definitely more outspoken now. Uh, and I don't have fear to tell it like it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what this is about. So in the physical part of in the spiritual part of the chart, the lesson is to learn to reconnect to the divine feminine aspect of God. So what was your relationship like with your mom?
Yeah, she was my best friend until I got married, and then I kind of didn't really hang out with her anymore. Um,
And how's it being a mother yourself, mother of 3? Because this is about learning to become into the unconditional love of divine feminine and just sharing yourself more, even more so than the average mother.
I need to work on that. I
Yeah.
need to work on that.
Yeah. So this is about learning to be the divine feminine.
I was never, I'm not one of those people that like if you ask me what, who are you or whatever, oh, I'm a mother, you know, I am one of those people that um I a doting mother. I was not a doting mother. That's not me.
Yeah. Well, you're meant to become one.
Okay.
That's the lesson.
Okay.
Sharing yourself with the kids. Okay.
Okay.
And this is opening the heart, allowing the divine feminine aspect of God to flow through you, and sharing it. Before, it's about sharing the flow of nature, this love. And it's about looking after others. And it's also about feeling the water and wisdom of the divine feminine within your heart, and feeling what is the next right action. I mean, you were talking earlier about not being so organized and going with the flow more. This is what this is about. Feeling in your heart, what is the next right action, and then putting it out, that intention out to the world of making that happen, but then letting it go and trusting. The more you let go, the more it's going to come to you. Just let go and the flow will come. Total surrender, no attachment.
Yes.
Trust divine feminine. This is what this is about, this one.
Okay. Trusting the divine feminine.
Trusting the divine feminine heart.
Okay.
Emotions in the heart.
Okay.
And the 21 here is the divine mother. That's the divine feminine. This is great strength. So have you had a lot of challenges in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I never looked at it that way, but I think so.
Yeah. So that is all about overcoming great challenges and becoming very strong on the inside. So do you
Yeah.
feel you become strong?
Oh, I've always been strong inside. I
Yeah.
feel like.
So, yeah.
Well,
So that's what
you
that's
know what? I
about.
used to fool myself thinking I was strong inside
Yeah.
because I was an overachiever. And I then realized that I was an overachiever because I was weak inside and I wanted love and I wanted to overachieve so my parents would pay attention to me, right? So I could receive love. Um, but once I saw that I did that, I took my strength back and I said, you know what? Forget overachieving. I don't need to prove to anybody that I'm lovable. And I feel like that's when I really grabbed onto my power, when I said, I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically you got to the point you didn't have to take on the challenge. You just started doing it the easy way, which is what this is about.
Yeah.
Because you had the strength to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 here is a communicator, teacher, making these videos, leading people. So there's a great knowledge, great library of soul knowledge deep in this internal canal, and you're here to bring it out to the world and share it with people. So this is sharing knowledge from the soul. This is taking knowledge that comes to you, duplicating it and sharing it from the flow. So it's all about communication, teaching. And the 10-1 here is about bringing the balanced male, female aspects of God and spiritual goals here to serve people with spiritual energies above all things. That's what this is about. Because you left the corporate world, didn't you? And you became
Yeah.
a card-carrying light worker to serve others.
Yes.
And the one is about disseminating healing and knowledge. This is Archangel Michael, the masculine aspect of God. So you got the feminine aspect, and mother aspect of God in your chart.
Okay, so what did you say again about Saint Michael?
So this is Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael,
Masculine aspect of God. This is unity, power, and stability. So it's about coming to power relative to the masculine, relative to your father, ex-husband, and men in general. It's about holding your ground, holding your power. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. I took care of that. Yes.
Yeah, holding your power.
I did.
And then
yes.
Having healing the wounded masculine in you, so it becomes integrous and the use of its energy out in the world to serve. And this is opening to the mind of God. This one here. This is God, male, masculine, feminine aspects of God manifesting. It's the potential manifestation on earth to serve with spiritual energy.
Okay.
And if we the product of all these, if you work on all these consciously, the soul destiny starts to manifest layer by layer. And your soul destiny is to need to go and have direct experience of many different things in life. Try them on to find out the best place to be. Okay. This could have been a corporate job or multiple corporate jobs. Did you go through a lot of different jobs when you were younger? Or did you stay in one profession?
Yeah, I stayed in one profession pretty much.
Was
But
it the same?
the thought of wanting to try different things always came up in my head. I was like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be a Walmart greeter. Oh, I wonder what it's like to be. So that was always in my head. Like, how would it be to do this other thing and that other thing? But I never really did anything about it.
Yeah. Well, the idea was to try these on till you found the right place to be. But when did you leave the corporate world and to do what you're doing now?
That was 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. So how was that to jump into this new role, working in the more spiritual realm?
It was heaven on earth, really. I was super happy, super happy. But then came a time when I didn't resonate with it anymore, and I then start doing the videos, the YouTube videos, that I do now with the interviews and then also the tarot, videos as well. So, um,
You
so right,
moved on
yeah,
and something.
yeah, because I wanted to be retired. I wasn't resonating with doing the sessions anymore. So I'm like, I'm being told to be and not do. So I started being and not doing, and I took that upon being as like retired. So I just kind of retired. And I think now I'm ready to move on to the next whatever it is.
Yeah. So you got to go and try things on for a while till you feel restless and insecure. Then you go and do the next one.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll get to the point where you'll find the thing which you'll stick with for quite a while. Like, okay, I found the right thing. But unless you have this journey, you can't go from here to here like a lot of people. You've got to go through all these stages.
Yeah.
That's fine. And that's sort of frowned upon in Western society. You've got to make your mind up, make your bed, and sleep in it to the
Yes.
careers. But it's very much here about you've got to explore to find it. You must go through all the pathways, otherwise it's not going to work. So it sounds like you're making good progress. So this is like the quantum hypnosis. This is what you're doing now, videos and
Yep.
YouTube videos,
Yep.
tarot, and now we're going to go on to the next one.
Yep.
So the
Which
main
I
thing is
think
to
is
when
going to
you're
be I want to travel the world. That's the next. It's huge for me. I have to.
Yeah. So this is the exploration of the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the 6 is about unblocking your creativity to give you the power to do that, to move forward and keep exploring. And it's saying it's here to do something very specific in the world. Okay. Do you know what that is yet? Or we maybe have to get over here before you can decide what that is? It'll come. It'll come. The main thing is to keep moving and exploring. And it'll be once you'll know when you're at the place, because you feel like, I feel satisfied. This is it. You'll just know every feeling in you. I don't have to, this restlessness will be gone, and you'll settle, and you'll be very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to do like a commune type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at your other names and see where that is. Hang on. Let's find. I've got to find your other charts here. We looked at we're going to move on from, that was sort of a summary of the birth name.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to go to the next level of this work, which is what this video is primarily about, which is, okay, so this is Elisa's birth name in its written form. This is in its Spanish form because it's got, if we set it the Spanish way, okay, in terms of the phonetics when she was born, we're going to look at that briefly. And so I'm going to call up a PowerPoint here. It will come up. So what we can do is think of that birth name as like this is the cake of Elisa's life. Okay. And she has two birth names because she's got there's a Spanish way of saying it, pronunciation, and there's an English way or a written way of saying it, which is what we looked at. And then we're going to look at the effect of different layers of icing, different names. So for example, this is Elisa's current name. Then we're going to look at her son's birth name. Then we're going to look at the son's current name. And these are like layers of icing that are layered on top of the birth name chart. And they infuse specific frequencies into the birth name to help it grow and change in different ways. So that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this video.
Okay, good. I can't wait.
Yeah. So this is where the work gets really interesting because it's pretty profound what it says about someone's life as an individual. When we start looking at the effects of their names, other names like current name here, in a way, in Spanish, current name as it's written, and her son's birth name, son's current name, we can then get down to the core hidden dynamics of how our own names affect us, and even more interesting, how the names of those close to us affect us. Okay, because relationships are very mysterious. This sort of lifts the veil on that to find out what's really happening. And it also allows us to see what drives someone, because everyone's hardwired in a very specific way, and we understand how that is, especially with our children. We can start to flow with them rather than impose parenting or relationship belief systems on how it should be with kids or anyone in general on someone where it may not fit them at all. So what we'll do here is that we look at your Spanish pronunciation of your name. It's a bit different. So in summary, this is about, when you were a kid, did you feel that on some days that you believed in God and on other times part of you didn't believe in it at the same time? There was a sort of push-pull with God?
Not with God, but with I would say with the teachings about God.
Yeah. Tell us more about that.
Well, and the thing is, I'm not going to remember a whole lot of when I was a kid either. I do not remember not thinking there is a God. Maybe I did. I do not remember a lot of my childhood.
Okay. Okay, so this is a direct connection to God here, and this is a disconnection on a bad day. So this is helping you connect to God, and this one's here. You're here to be a pure spiritual service to the world, which is what you're doing now.
Yeah.
The sixes here are about learning to get focused and taking all the creative ideas you have and focusing on the most important one. Okay, how do you find? Yeah, how's that been in terms of taking a creative idea and manifesting it into reality?
Well, I kind of did a good job when you know, I don't know if you remember when I had the show with Elena Dannon. You know, I was the one who had the creative idea of starting the webcast with her and starting the Patreon and starting the Teespring, and I asked her to write the book. So a lot of the creative ideas, I feel like I was very successful at that time in creating all of that. Creating now the tarot show that I'm doing now, although that idea came from someone else who does it as well, but doing it my way. And I feel like now that I am retired, I really am not working on this at all. creatively. I really haven't done anything with it, to be honest. I just want to travel. That's all I care about right now, is like I'm obsessed with wanting to travel.
Okay, well, this is the movement here we talked about before.
Hmm.
Okay, so the creative period ran for a while. So you got here and here. Now you're trying something else. So the other thing this is saying is that you're here to bring groups of people together. So which
Yeah,
you're doing with
that,
the show.
yeah, and I have the Starseed connection every month. And I do need to do something locally, which I kept telling myself I was going to do, and I never did. So I have to admit, I have been lazy about this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this is saying you're here to write a book of some sort. This
I
is
wrote a
about
book, but I never published it.
what was the book about, if you can share that?
It was about, it had to do with women that get abducted to be in the hybrid program to give birth to children. And once Elena and I met and we started looking at under the pyramid and under the Sphinx and stuff like that, I kind of got sidetracked. And then once I gave her the idea to write the book, part of my book was what's in her book, which is her story. Um, so then I kind of just was like, well, it's going to be too repetitive. And it was a story of like either 4 or 5 different sessions that I had done that had to do with the hybridization program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a book got born out of it anyway, just indirectly. So
Hmm.
you triggered the writing of a book. Seems to be what's going on here.
Yeah.
And this is about you coming into the divine feminine aspect, just like this one here. Okay.
Yeah.
So your current name in Spanish is about, I'll just summarize this more. This is about gonna just erase some of the drawings here. This is about showing your true self to the world, getting focused, becoming the communicator in the world. This 6 here is about lots of creative ideas, but it focuses you on showing the real you, which is what you're talking about earlier.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is more power, more dragon energy. It comes into this talent gateway here, burns through this challenging stuff here, doing it the hard way. This brings you online and trusting the flow of the divine feminine, helps you come to the power around the masculine. And this one grounds you so you can feel your way through any disconnection in the ego from God. And do you read a lot, learn a lot, like to learn a lot of stuff? This is about absorbing lots of knowledge.
Yeah, I do. I used to read a lot and research a lot. I don't anymore.
Yeah, so it sounds like that's done there. And so these are like layers of icing here. And this common written name, the way it's written, is about being the explorer, which is just what you described. Still working with groups, showing your true self, being creative, speaking the truth, grounding and relating to all sorts of people. This is very much about being a truth seeker and taking your pioneering vision out to the world. Okay, so that's 6 helps. This is learning to focus, the ability to focus. This one actually clashes with this. This creates but a frustration at times. That's what that's saying. This is
Mm.
very good. It grounds you. Okay, and this is about being of service. So it's sort of variations on the same thing about being a pioneer, communicating, teaching, drawing people together. So this is your sort of constellation of energies. And now we move outside that to your sun. And our children choose us, or we agree to be parents for our kids, or we're sort of custodians for them to help them come online in their service, however that is. And if we understand how they're built, what then that allows us to do is flow with that natural energy. and so they feel supported. So your son here, what's the main question you have about his life? Because we'll use that as a start point.
Well, he doesn't want to go to school, to college. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He's lost. His dad is making him go to college. And I, now that I know what I know, I feel college is just a slavery indoctrination. So I don't want him to go to college. And I agree with him. I support him in finding something that he loves, but I feel like I don't know how to help him.
Okay.
And he's also very stubborn. He's a Taurus, and um, anything that I say or ask or tell him, he doesn't believe. He doesn't, the typical mom, like whatever, you know.
Well, this is the age, and he's got all his testosterone running, trying to break away from home. This is normal. I had this with my son. He's a little bit older. We as parents
So
don't know anything. So,
exactly, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's been I have been supporting him in his decision. I'll give you an example of who he is. Um, he came to fight the system, is what I was told, and I believe that because in school, 40% of his grade was homework. And from the beginning, he's like, I'm not doing homework. And he literally, like, we had to wait till the day before graduation to know if he was graduating because he refused to do homework. And the teacher would send me email after email. It was really stressful for me. And it was email after email, like, he's not going to pass. He's not doing his homework. But you know what? He graduated and he would pass the test fine without doing homework. But he was like, I'm not doing homework. He didn't care
So
about the consequences.
yeah. Well, this is about him then standing his power against the hierarchical system. Yeah.
That's
And he's
him.
very powerful. He's got nines as dragon energy, and he's got 6 9s. So he knows he can do whatever he likes, and they can't stop him. And he will break through no matter what. Does that sound familiar?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
It,
could.
it's his way
Force
or
of
the
nature.
highway.
It's force of nature here, the way he's built. And because he's very intelligent with 11 2,
Yes.
it's about absorbing and assimilating structure. This is the reason he could pass just on 60% because he's very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does his father want him to do at college?
He just wanted him to go to college. That's it. Just to have a degree, any degree. He doesn't care what
Oh,
kind of
okay.
degree.
Okay, he's not imposing a degree, just any
Mm-hmm.
degree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the father energy. This is overcoming the disempowerment by the father trying to get you to do something you don't want to do. So this is him drawing a line saying, Dad, it is my way or the highway. And if his father has less nines than him, your son will prevail. And there'll be nothing his dad can do about it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's happening already by the sounds of it, isn't it?
Well, his dad pays for his car. So right now
Ah,
he's submitting to him, unfortunately.
okay. So what is he doesn't know what he's interested in.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, let's look at what he's got here. So your son is a builder of knowledge, taking ideas and concepts and then throwing away the things that don't resonate with him and building his own unique structure of truth. So he needs to go and find out what he likes to build. He's a builder,
Okay.
either knowledge or a physical builder of things. This is someone who could be an architect, a real builder, or someone just builds stuff, an engineer, something like that, or a
Well,
builder of knowledge.
he did say he wanted to be a mechanic, a car mechanic, because his older brother is a car mechanic. Um, and that's undoing and redoing and building back up. Like Legos,
Yeah,
right?
like what?
Legos.
Yeah. Well, did he like Lego as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's perfect for kids with 11 twos. So if you find something to build, he'll be really happy.
Okay.
That's where he'll be really happy. And he's here to learn to take spiritual energies as a karmic lesson and form them in something physical, a physical form, so that others can come into it, learn about and achieve their goals. And then one's here about him coming to his power, especially around his father, and then disseminating healing and knowledge into it. So this is some sort of center, physical space. Could be a space where people bring their cars. Could be the garage or whatever. But it could be something else, because he's actually here to learn to serve with spiritual energies. Is he very spiritual?
I
Not
don't
yet.
think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure, really.
Yeah. So this is about overcoming the denial of God here in the ego. All right. And then trusting the flow of God. So I'd say this is some sort of center out in 3D society to help others. Okay. So ultimately to serve others and give them a unique structure of truth which he's developed. It could be building cars, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But it might be something else as well. And he's here to catalyze change with his powerful dragon energy out in the world. Okay. He needs a position where he can use his power for good, because he's learning about the proper use of power and physical goals here in soul destiny. So there's a lot of power, but it has to be learned to use properly. There's a lot of power issues here as well. And also in terms of vocation, he needs to do something pioneering and cutting edge, exciting to him. Others who get bored. Got to find something pioneering, like something that inspires the vision that really gets him moving, and then ground that vision and turn it into a physical reality.
Okay.
And there's also, is he very emotionally intense? Because you got a 14 here and here.
Emotionally intense?
Yeah. Does he sort of interacting with it, was it quite intense?
With me, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what he's doing, yeah. What he's doing is he's creating an intensity. Well, you've got it as well. You've got two of them. See, you're triggering it in him actually. This is called a goal lock. The positive 14 transmutes a negative 1 here. So basically, you're using that to learn about yourselves and each other through that intense relationship. You got 3 of them, so this is really intense.
Yeah,
There's
yes,
also
it is.
there's also a writer in him as well.
He's what?
Here, he's a writer in him, an author.
Author. Okay.
In the future, but it's writing from life's deep experience. He's that
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So he needs to it needs to be something pioneering, supporting people and giving them structural knowledge. It could be building physical things like cars, it could be something else.
Okay.
And this let's have a look here. Do you have power struggles with him?
Oh,
This is saying, because these ones here are in karma, so they clash. It brings up the negative aspects of disempowerment of the masculine here. There's a power struggle going on. It's called a karmic clash, and your one's coming across to here, to his talent gateway, up into his one, which is feeling disempowered, like around his dad. So you're triggering him a lot.
ugh.
Okay. And he's triggering you because all these 9s are coming. He's really pressing all your buttons, Elisa. He's roasting you energetically, actually, this kid. So he's good for your growth, but it can be intense because all your separation is going to keep coming out.
That's why I wanted to do this reading because it's always been very, very intense between us.
Yeah. Yeah, he's here to trigger everyone so they grow. Okay. That's what this is about.
Oh, so he's here to trigger people to grow.
To
Okay.
grow. The 9s is fiery dragon. So what we call it technically flaming. He's going to energetically flame everyone. So all their karmic and goal stuff comes up and they have to deal with it. Just walk in the room and he'll just flame them or walk out, says nothing, and they will process. Okay. That's his job.
Oh my God.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. With me, absolutely. I mean, like when he goes visits other parents, his friends, the moms are like, he's an angel, he's so perfect, he's so sweet. And I'm like, Not with me.
You don't know half of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, this is the 13 forces of the divine feminine. And this is a very gentle. That's what they're feeling, the gentle part of it. Yeah. Well, you got another 14 up here. No wonder this. You both got 14 pies. Intense reflective being and relationship. So this is a layer of icing here of his current name on his birth name. So this name here is about still being the pioneer. But this is saying he's here to take spiritual concepts and express them in plain English, the man in the street. So maybe that's about the car thing. Okay. And the 19 here, again, repeating, is here to hold space. Okay, definitely. This 8 is about, is he good at relating to all sorts of different people?
Yes. He's like a
Yeah.
funny guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, well, that's the first is the clown here. This is the clown here. It's good clown energy.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
him.
the fun and laughter,
Yep.
telling jokes and stuff like that.
Yep, that's him.
This 8 is also going. This amoebus is about getting grounded, having clear emotional boundaries here, and knowing where his stuff is here, other people's stuff's out here. So that's going to ground his power. Just ground him to feel his way through the disempowerment with the masculine, and going to ground the vision here. Okay, and this 13 force of divine feminine. You actually have a clash here with him. So this brings out the negative mothering aspects into you, I'd say. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be feisty, right? I'll become feisty instead of motherly.
Yeah. So he's pressing on all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I say take the garbage out, he'll be like, not right now. And it's like, right? So I can't make him. He's a big guy. He's 6'2". He's really tall. So I can't make him take out the garbage. All I can do is, say, please take it out. But he'll be like, not right now. And it's like, well, oh well, there it goes. Like there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, well, it's all these 9s here, you see. He's too strong.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You've got 2 of them, you're outnumbered.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're definitely outnumbered 3-1.
Yep.
Dragon energy wise. Okay. All right. So this has got these similar things about creating space, brings its divine feminine in. So my sense is he's here to be of service to look after others, to catalyze them to grow in some way. But I think a grounding, say he's got to pick something that's going to feel comfortable for him. But I think working with cars or something grounded would be good for the 5. People often do that to ground themselves. They do that for a while. When they get grounded enough in that, because with a car, it either works or doesn't work. So you've got to be very grounded. And then they go off and do something else. That could be a start.
Okay.
As long as he's got pioneering stuff and he can grow, build things, he'll be happier.
Okay. That
Be happier.
Yeah, that helps so much.
College will be okay if it was something he wanted to do that would allow him to get to where he wants to do.
Hmm.
Because what it would do, I mean, my son is very spiritual. I mean, he's trained in all the modalities we do, like this soul contract work and divine healing and light body integration. But he decided to go. He took a year off, had a gap year. Then he made his own mind up. Okay, I'm going to go to university in France because he's half French. He wanted to learn the other half of his culture. And he just wanted to have he just likes maths. So he's in his 3rd year now. So, and basically he's got these 11 2s and he seems to be wanting to learn the structure. His soul wants the structure of the maths. But he said, I don't really want to stay in the system. I don't want to stay in the math. He understands the whole system, how it works, because he's had that since he was 5 or even younger. He had a very alternative upbringing. So it's clear his soul wanted the structure of this degree, so he'd think in a certain way, but then said, I actually don't want to get a normal job based upon this. Now, he may just go off and do his therapies for a while when he finishes, just to feed himself. I said to him, your mother and I aren't going to keep paying. You need to get a job, or you need to go and do the therapies you're trained in and earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
buy yourself some time, and then work out what you're going to do next. So for your son, it could be college could be helpful, but pick something if he's going to go down that route that's going to give him the structure that he likes. It's going to be something he loves to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Nothing's going to work unless it's something he wants to do. I know that
yeah,
for a fact.
yeah, it's got to be something he loves to do. My son loves maths, and it's clear. See, your son needs a certain structure, maybe of education, but he understands that you don't have to go and get a specific sort of job with it. That we give him the structure to give him the next step. Having seen this with mine. Okay, so that training may be what he needs because he's very smart. He needs to be challenged and honed at a structural level, as long as he understands about the brainwashing of college, and just take what he needs from it, take the structure he needs, and leave the rest. If he can do that, then that actually may serve him, because that would then give him, once he's got that degree, the opportunity to go to other things he really needs to do. Okay,
Yeah, the
so
problem with college here is that it's mandatory that he takes like English, right? And he does not want to write a paper. He does not want to do anything you need to do. So here in the US, if you don't take English with your career, with with your um career, it then you don't get a degree. And he's like,
yeah,
I'm not doing it. I'm not, I don't want to do English, so I'm not going to take English. And so then he doesn't get a degree.
well, let's do it the other way around. See, is there a structure of knowledge at college that he's passionate about? My son's passionate about maths. If your son has some passion, then in order to achieve it, that may make it easier to slide the English in there some way.
I
Not
don't,
from the front end. Is when you get to the end, what get the structure he wants, and maybe that's the other way to approach it.
yeah, it's possible. Right now, I just, he doesn't know what he likes to do. And that's where the problem lies.
So, how long has he been out of high school?
A year.
What's he been doing?
He's been working full time, and then he tried going to college, and then he failed two classes, of course, because again, he doesn't want to be there, which is understandable. And so now he's taking one class because the school only lets him take one class because he failed the other two, and then working at the same place, which is a workout place. It's called Planet Fitness. It's a gym where people work out. And, he says that he loves it because he doesn't do anything.
Okay, maybe this is the space here, holding space for others. Maybe he just needs to try some stuff on and be out in the real world for a while and let it come to him. That's what mine did. He wasn't sure what to do. All his friends were going to do degrees, which they weren't sure they wanted to do, but it costs as much to go to a university here in England now as it does to go to in America now. Sometimes more expensive. Okay, so we were thinking, well, we're not going to pay for this unless you're really sure. So we
Right.
said, okay, it seems pointless. So why don't you just take a year off and then just chill out and find out what it is you do like. And then partway through that, about 6 months into that, he got rid of great clarity. Okay, I want to do maths, I want to do it in France. And once he did that, he got really organized, got his French up to university standard. He just sorted it all out and he just went and did it. And he loves it. So maybe there's a point where your son has to get enough structure, get clarity out of the chaos of what's going on at the moment, and then he'll know. See, what happens with the 11 is the structure builds and builds, and it seems like nothing much is happening. Times are wasting. But actually, he's actually assimilating a lot of influence from the world. So lots of different experience out in the world will gradually build a structure. He gets clear, it's this. And once he makes his mind up, he'll just make it happen because he's got the power to do that. But he's got to come to it at his own speed.
Correct. As you can tell, nobody's going to make him do anything.
They can't. It's energetically impossible looking at this chart.
It is.
Yeah.
This kid he does it when he decides he was gonna do it. That's it.
Yeah. So just support him in that. Now you
Yes.
understand that's actually how it works. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
And keep keep hold the space, and he'll get there
Yeah.
because he's got so much power in the chart. He will do something wonderful in the world, but he's got to find it himself. He's got to be lost for a while. At the moment, the 11-2 doesn't have this enough structure, so bits and pieces are building, but you hit a critical threshold of enough structure, then it'll go click and it'll say one day to Mum, Dad, I made my mind up, and it'll make complete sense, and he'll just go and do it.
You
And you
know,
wonder what all the
that's exactly what happened with my oldest. Same story.
yeah.
Same exact story. Same
And you
exact
wonder what
story.
all the fuss is about, but he's got to get there himself. So got to be patient with this because he will get
Yes.
to he will get it. He will
Yeah.
get it.
Absolutely, and I believe that too. I know and trust that his guides are guiding him. That that something will come to him where I go, oh yeah, let me try that. You know, like so. I'm just trusting and supporting him. He doesn't want to go to college. I'm supporting him on that. You know, I am absolutely supporting him in everything that I possibly can. I just want him to be happy. That's it. That's all I care about.
Yeah. So there's plenty of time, and actually, by not doing a degree which he doesn't want to do, that gives him that's empowering. Okay, it's empowering because when he does make his mind up, he'll be totally committed. My one's totally committed to what he's doing and doing really well at it because
Yes,
he made the decision.
exactly.
He got really clear. Okay, this is it, and he is amazing at watching this young man organize himself. He just made it all happen.
Yeah.
And a sudden transformation from not having no idea to actually real clear. Here are all the goals. Here are all the deadlines I've got to meet to get ready for this. Move to a completely new country. He just visited. He hadn't lived there. Get his French up to speed, and then it all just happened because he got enough critical structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry about this. Just got to be patient. This will
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah.
He's good enough. He can do whatever he wants in the world. Just a matter of getting there. And he's learning a lot, I'd say, by not being not having a education thrust down his throat anymore. Well, not significant amounts anyway. So he can go out and explore and build a different structure.
Exactly. Exactly. And he's been talking about going to his brother's car shop with him. I need to foster that because I think that will take him to the next level of saying, yes, that's what I want, or no, that's not it. Let me go look
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. Well, he could try out being an apprentice mechanic or however they do it in America, and then he'll know. But he has to get grounded in it, maybe just what he wants to do. So it's important that he follows his passion because most of us are programmed to do certain things. And most of the time we don't really like it and we just do it because we think it's the right thing to do. But it's important for young people to do what their passion is about.
Yeah.
Then they love it, become they really enjoy it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
so he's not narrowed down to what the system thinks he should do. So he's not becoming a slave to the system because he's programmed by it. It's clearly he's being sovereign, which is these
Big
ones
time.
really sovereign as dragon. I'm in charge. And then there's a plan. We all have a plan. And it's in here. Okay, I mean, he needs to be, with this level of power, he needs to be owning and running his own business, probably. Okay. Eventually, this kid would not tolerate the corporate structure.
No.
He would not tolerate it at all because he could see the untruth and lack of integrity in most corporate structures. And that would, because this is about integrity, he'd see that and that would drive him crazy. Okay. He would see the focus on the bottom line and stuff, and he's here to be of service. So yeah, he basically needs to run his own business. So that's a good sign. That's another really important thing. He
Yeah.
needs to be in charge. So
Big
in
time.
past lives, he's used to being the boss, which is probably what you're experiencing now. He's used to being the boss. My one sort of, when he was a teenager, started bossing me around as if he was in charge because he was remembering he was in charge previously when we were together. I used to say to him, "Not this time. I'm in charge, so I'm paying the bills." So,
Yes.
but they remember, you see, they remember what it's
They
like,
remember. They do.
and they act upon that. So
Yeah, they do.
Hope that helps. It gives you a feel, it'll give you a bit of flow and conscious flow, what the possibilities are here.
Yes, absolutely. And so now that we see this, then we can consciously then deal with that child. Is basically really the gist of it. By learning these habits and what they're here to do, we can learn how to consciously manage them. And instead
Yes.
of, for example, like the dragon energy, right? Why am I going to go against that? Like, and I learned that lesson on my own. Let me tell you, I wish I would have talked to you many years ago. Uh, but yeah, it got to a point where I was like, I need to let this go because I learned them with my first son, and they're both Tauruses.
Yeah.
And, it was like banging my head against the wall. Like it was, so I had to let go. It was like, I'm here to love you and you go do what you need to do. And that's all that I've decided to do because I seriously felt powerless with this child. And yeah, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to be here to hold your space, to love you, and just as you are. And that's it. That's all I can do.
Yeah. So the idea behind this is that in conscious parenting is that when you know how your kids work, if you flow and support them, which is what you're doing now with them, based upon now you understand a lot more, you help them overcome their karmic and goal issues, like help them come into his pay, supporting him not to go to college. Okay. Then the child feels really loved. And when they realize that you can support them on everything that's going on, they blossom and flow. Because you no longer see most of the time as parents, we tend to parent our kids the way we were parented unconsciously.
Yes.
And that does a huge amount of damage.
Yes.
Huge amount of damage. That's actually what destroys relationships between parents and children, especially this millennial generation, because they're very strong. If they don't want to do it, they won't. So it's no point in fighting it. But if you flow with them and support them with where they want to go, then they realize that, then you have a completely different relationship, much more harmonious, because it's supporting them on their unique soul journey, because they're hardwired to do this, whether they have your support or not. So it might as well support them.
Yes.
Because then you're going to maintain that close connection. I have a very close connection with my son because we knew from the beginning exactly how he was built, and we could adjust. We knew what was driving his behavior, so we would support that, him working through stuff rather than imposing our parents' imprints, which is what we did initially, and we realized we were doing it, so we stopped doing that.
Yes.
And did it more consciously. And when the kids feel supported, the bond with the kids is amazing because it's very deep, because they feel seen and heard and supported. And so it's challenging enough raising kids, especially young men. But when they feel seen and heard and understood, it's like you're in a different territory. You're no longer at war with them.
Yes, absolutely.
You're flowing with them. That's the key. And that's a great start in life for them, for parents consciously parenting them from the beginning, because they feel, because parents represent the archetypes of mother, father, God to the ego. So they feel mother, father, God is totally there, understands me, supporting me. This is Christmas as far as kids are concerned, amongst all the challenges. So this is key, and it makes our lives as parents a lot easier, because we know where the clashes are in the chart, like the power clash. You just got to work with it. But we know where the kids want to go. Most parents don't really know where their kids really want to go. And so this creates a natural flow where the energy opens up, rather than going off the path where the soul wants to go, because that's where you get all the clashes and conflicts, because it goes against the natural grain of the energy. So that's what conscious parenting does. That means you get a less dysfunctional child, because they haven't been traumatized by being forced to do things that we were imprinted to believe they should do, whereas they're more conscious, more empowered, and they get a better start in the world, and they make a better difference in this world from an early age, because they don't have so much stuff to work through that's as a result of dysfunctional parenting or unconscious parenting, because we didn't know how they worked.
Right.
This is actually what this does. So understanding your children gives them the best possible start, and acting upon that gives them a massive. I look at my son. I mean, he's so clear and conscious compared to how I was at his age. It's like a different reality, because we raised him based upon understanding how he worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so huge. That seriously, I wish I would have seen this when he was a younger, when he was little. It would have
yeah,
saved me so much heartache and so much pain. But at the time, I wasn't awakened, so it wouldn't, I wouldn't have seen this anyway. But you know, I hope that this helps other people. And can you tell us how parents can now go and get this type of feedback? Do they need to see a practitioner, or do they, with your book, can they do it, or with your website? Like how can someone get this for their children, done for their children?
yeah. Well, our website is Center. It's an American center with me. For it's FOR consciousascension.net. And if you go to the website and then click on sessions, or roll the mouse over sessions and click on soul contract reading, then for this sort of work, you need to have a reading from a skilled practitioner.
Okay.
The book, Your Soul Contract Decoded, only talks about the birth name. This stuff is much more complex. The book doesn't cover that.
Okay. Perfect.
That'd be not another book, which I
Okay.
haven't had time to. Too complex to write. I tried to write it, but it was too complicated to make it work.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to do it.
Yes. Okay.
Because
Okay.
you come at a certain point in your life, in a child's life, so you need a very custom answer, like I've given you here.
Yeah.
Depending on
Since you're sharing, do you, by any chance, do you have your website up?
Okay, so this is the website, Center for Conscious Ascension.net
Okay.
here. And to understand what we do, click on first time here. That's probably the best place. That gives an overview of the Awakening Toolkit in terms of these cutting edge tools. So this describes soul contract reading, which is
Okay.
what we've just been talking about. This describes divine healing to work on the issues that we've been talking about.
Okay.
And this is light body integration, which is embodying higher consciousness. But the one we want to focus on here is soul contract reading. So we can go to that here. And this basically explains how the system works, just like we've talked about.
Okay.
And the sort of readings that you want to look for is the one here with relationship reading, because that's where we can actually look at the relationship of you as a parent and to your children. And we can look up to 10 or 12 names. That's the one to go for, one of these guys. And that'll
Okay. And so
yeah,
are we talking the one on the right?
the one on the right here.
Yeah.
Let me get the pen here. This is
Oh,
the one
okay.
to go
Yes.
for. If you want to know how your kids tick and you want some relief from the angst of being a parent, this is the one to go for.
Okay.
Because then it would show you what's important, what to do and what not to do. Then your life becomes a lot easier as a parent. Well, still the challenges, but at least you know you're doing the right thing. Because parenting is guesswork a lot of the time.
Yes. Big
You
time.
just do your best, but if and you can navigate it with the knowledge we've shown you today, and it'll drop your blood pressure, I don't know, 20 points or something, and you'll get some results out of it. So okay.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Every parent would
Awesome.
like to get their blood pressure 20 points. So
Yes. Yes. Big time. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. Just amazing, Nicholas David. I am so grateful that you stuck with me in trying to get this scheduled and to get this out there. I am so looking forward to helping you with the, to beta testing and all that stuff. So uh, I'm here for you in any way that you need me. And I would love to have you back once that's on and we can launch it and, let everybody know also the new stuff
yeah,
that's coming out. So that would be great too.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
So awesome. Is there anything else or are we good for today?
I think we're good for today. I think we've been pretty thorough. Sort of sorted out life, the universe, and parenting. I mean, it's a big subject, parenting. So
It is. It's a big subject. Absolutely. And if and I really would like for people to put their questions in the comments because if I see there's a lot of questions, maybe we need to have you back so that they can live so that they can ask questions if necessary. So guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And if I see that there's enough interest, I will have a live, and then we can ask, Nicholas, David, the questions directly. So again, thank you so much. And everybody take care. Thank you for watching. Please share, because I really do think that this could help so many, many, many parents out there. And not only that, we want our starseeds to be happy. We want our starseeds to have the best possible life, being raised correctly, and not to have parents that are, scratching their heads like, how am I going to raise this child? So please share. Please share. This is important for the children. Let's see. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.